No, you weren't. So yeah, weather has become sexy.
Almost 4 months ago, we interviewed you up in your office. Take two. And you predicted it would be a snowy March, snowy April, and snowy May. Further, you said in June we would see a delayed entry into summer.
So for March, April, and May, it's going to be colder than normal and wet. So a cold, wet spring is what I see coming, and a summer start that may be a little bit delayed.
Don, you were 100% right. Has that ever happened before in the history of meteorology?
Yes. Well, actually, I have to be clean. I'm a time traveler.
Last night, Darth Vader came down from planet Vulcan and told me that if I didn't take Lorraine out, that he'd melt my brain.
I knew it.
I know. It's very satisfying to have a long-range forecast that works out the way you expected it to be. There's certain things that we look at that gives us clues. When I talked to you last, I was really confident in the forecast, and I'll tell you why. We have gotten much better at observing trends in the weather patterns out in the Pacific Ocean, namely what the water temperatures are doing in the Pacific Ocean.
It's absolutely real.
Almost all the weather in Wyoming and this part of the country is dictated by the Pacific. When we got into February and March, we started to see the Pacific get warmer near the equator. That's a signal for cool and wet. Now, that sounds strange. How does a warm Pacific make it colder and wetter here?
Gee, Mr. Spicoli, I don't know.
It alters the jet stream, it changes some things around, and so the writing was on the wall.
And the wall just got 10 feet taller.
When we got into March and we started with those big snowstorms, we had that big March blizzard.
The snow's coming down sideways.
It really set the stage, the Pacific Ocean did, to a cool, wet spring pattern. And what I like to do, and some weather forecasters do it, this is a little old school. This does not involve any computer models. This doesn't involve any fancy climatology or anything else. Like what it does is you say, how does this year look and how does it compare to what we've seen before? So what I do is we go back and we look at previous years because we actually have a fairly good record of what the Pacific Ocean's temperature patterns are like. And so we'll go back and we'll say, you know what? 1956 was a lot like this year. We see similarities. And what we do is we call that analog forecasting. We find an analog in the past and we see if it's similar to what we're experiencing now.
Wow.
So what that is actually doing weather forecasting in reverse. It's really good marketing, and I know that's why they do it, but I don't like it. No, I will not mention on the radio or my podcast anything that has to do with a storm named by a certain weather.
What if it was Winter Storm Dawn?
I would protest. I would actually probably sue them for trademark infringement.
What if it was Winter Storm Dawn Day?
Then they're real in trouble.
All right.
Because I don't want to say, Winter Storm Dawn Day was only 3 inches. I'm not going. Okay, so good news for those folks waiting for some summer, some consistent summer. We're there now. What we're going to see this summer is a lot like what we just experienced over the last week. So it got really hot here over the weekend and late last week. We had some 80s and 90s, but now we're cooling off. So we're going to have this back and forth. We're going to have some hot days. I see 80s and 90s. I could see a couple of hundreds in places like Torrington and Wheatland, but we're not going to have anything that lasts. I'm thinking that we're also going to have at least average precipitation. I don't see a summer drought pattern setting up. We've got great soil moisture right now, so it's going to be a comfortable summer with no prolonged heat waves. I do think that we'll probably have good summer all the way into at least the middle of September.
But you're on a hot streak right now, so let's take advantage of it. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Oh, the Detroit Lions.
Wow. All right, Don, if you nail
the Detroit Lions.
If you nail the Detroit Lions, you're Hall of Fame. Is there a Weatherman Hall of Fame?
No, there's not.
There should be.
There should.
If you get the Detroit Lions right.
No, that's kind of like the Les Nessman Hall of Fame. You don't want to be in.